Hi, everybody. The next objection is we have to find a house before we sell ours. This is a seller who thinks they're a buyer. So I would say this is an important question. Did you want to sell your home before you purchased another? And most of them are always going to tell you, yes, I definitely have to have my house sold before I can purchase another. I can't afford to own two houses. So understand that that's never going to happen. In today's market, you and I both know that any responsible listing agent, if they get an offer in this written subject to the sale of another home that isn't even on the market yet, is going to advise their sellers to ignore it completely. So that is just simply not going to happen. And if the other thing I can share with you based on bitter experience is that if they say to you, yes, I want to, I'll go ahead and find a home and I'll purchase it and then I'll put my house on the market and sell it. This is important. In most cases, don't believe them. Because here's what happens. You go out there, you look at 10 houses, you find them one, they write an offer, they get it accepted and subject to bridge financing. And then they go into their lender and their lender says, oh, here's your regular mortgage payment. Here's going to be the payment on the second mortgage on your house to get your down payment. Here's going to be the payment on your new house. And here's all the taxes and insurance and utilities and everything on both houses. And by the time that lender's done with that presentation, so is your deal done. Okay? And that happened to me so many times, finally I just didn't work in that environment anymore. So understand that this is typically a seller who thinks they're a buyer. Your goal, in my opinion, is to position them properly in the marketplace, get them where they need to go in a way that actually works for them. And this is going to be what we used to call the $10,000 mistake. Now it's probably more like $30,000 to $50,000. If I was talking to somebody, I'd say, you know, Tony, in our business we have a nickname for this, and it's like the $20,000, $30,000 mistake. And the way it works is like this. Let's say that you do this and you go out there and you pay top dollar for a home, which you're going to do because you're writing an offer subject to the sale of your particular home, or they understand that your home is involved in this somehow in the background. So because you're in a weak negotiating position, you're going to pay more for that home. At the same time, now all of a sudden, if you get somebody to agree to this or whatever, you're going to put your house on the market. And because you have financing set up on both houses now, for the most part, on your backup house, now you're panicked because you have two payments and you have two houses and you're like, what? So along comes a low ball offer, a lower offer. You're going to bite a lot faster than you normally should or would, because you are in a weak negotiating position. And so you're in a weak negotiating, pay more for the house, and then on your house you're probably going to accept less for your house than you should because of these double and triple payment situations and because you've placed yourself in a weak negotiating position. Trust me, guys, this is a bad idea, okay? So, Tony, let's flip this around and let's get this in the right order. So this is what I need you to consider, the possibility that we put you in a position of strength on both sides. We get your home on the market. We have all the time in the world. Doesn't matter how long it takes you to move. We get you top dollar for your home in the right period of time. Now you've got all that cash. You've sold for top dollar. We're going to go out there and find another home for you. And there's a variety of different ways to extend that period after you've sold your home so that this can work for you. For example, you can delay the closing on your home. You can have, instead of 30 days possession, you can have 30 days possession after closing and then extend that for another 90 days and rent the house back from the new owner. There's ways to get my record for time in the house for a seller turned buyer was 10 months they were building. So there are ways to extend that period of time to provide your seller, soon to be and now buyer, with enough time to get into the marketplace and find something that's accessible to them. And now is a great time to do that. So as a cash in hand buyer, you're in the best negotiating position. You're in a strong negotiating position on both ends. And part of the solutions to finding that new home are delay the closing, make possession after closing for an extended period, do rent backs. There's just do everything you can to stretch out that period to give that seller enough time as a buyer to find something that they really want. And if they want to move, and at the end of the day, and they say, well, I'm looking for something on the water, the first thing I would tell them is, how do you feel about interim housing? Because it's liable. First of all, we have to sell your home before you can even enter the market as a highly qualified, pre-approved buyer. And it might take us 2 years to find that home. Are you willing to live in interim housing? Because if they're not, you're wasting your time. So I hope that that's helpful. First question you ask is, did you want to sell your home before you purchased another one? If they say yes, don't show them houses, okay? Don't. It's a complete waste of your time. So that's the first thing I would tell you. Explain to them how they're going to put themselves in a weak negotiating position on both ends. Show them how to strengthen that negotiating position. And sometimes if I'm talking to somebody that I feel really good with, I'd say, Tony, I don't want to make you mad. And smile when you say this. I don't want to make you mad. But there's a saying for this kind of situation in our business. Sometimes we say these are sellers who think they're buyers. Because really the truth of the matter is that if you don't sell your home, you can't buy a house. That's what you're telling me. So you're really not a buyer. You're a seller who may become a buyer if your home is sold. And it would really be unfair of me to go out there and show you 5, 10, 15 houses, have you wind up in, this is an important dialogue, so hear me out on it. Let's say we're in house number 13. It's the house of your dreams. And you're looking at it, and you're jumping up and down, and everybody's hugging. Now I get to go back to the office and tell you why you can't have it. Okay? And I've had that conversation before, and I don't want to have it with you. So those are some thoughts on this subject. I'm sorry it's a little complex. I hope you take the time to master it, because when somebody says this to you, there are thousands of dollars on the table and a lot of time in your life. And I hope you take the time to understand what the issues are and to be able to communicate them clearly with the people that you're talking to. Thank you.